People call me Mito. I am the president of the Amulet D20 Arts and Culture Association, and we are a fantasy community that operates in the whole country of Slovenia. We have around 10 locations where we do our events, where we community build, and where we give people access to all the fantasy hobbies. Well, not quite all of them, but most of them, which are miniature painting, 3D printing, cosplay, wargaming, Dungeons and Dragons, and other tabletop RPGs, and just anything in between that counts as a fantasy hobby. So we are through and through right now in this current state of our organization. We are all volunteers, and it just naturally came to the age group between 18 and 35, 40. Is our target audience, or I would rather say target volunteer base. It's people who did not have access to fantasy hobbies in the way that they have now through all community building that we have done. So we have gotten a lot of people who wanted to participate in the hobbies to just participate in the organization and in building the whole community. So we have volunteers from 18 to 35, 40 who operate this organization that we have. So it's either administrational stuff, as I do as president, and other people in the organs of the association, and at the same time community builders who are in different cities, who organize games, schedule them on Facebook, schedule them on Instagram, schedule them on Discord, who reach out, who promote the Discord server, and who just do everything from making videos to photographing and everything. So basically, Discord, in the time period that we are and that we were when we started, was the main sort of gaming platform for communication, for social interaction. Facebook was at the time a bit outdated and a lot of people don't use it. Instagram is a great platform that we use. I mean, great because of the target audience, not because of what it is. And on Discord, generally, most of the community is on it. So, for example, from our member base, which is around 200 members, most of them are on Discord, maybe around 10 aren't. That's just like a projection of mine. I don't have the real numbers, but most of them are on Discord. So it's a great way for communication and still casual enough so you don't pressure volunteers that they have to be on some sort of very organized project management communication site. It's just a gaming platform. And that's where it works for us. The fantasy gaming community, it has quite a few neurodivergent people. It has a lot of people who have trouble with socialization. It has a lot of people who spent a lot of their time at home and didn't build life competences. But at the same time, they are extremely intelligent people a lot of the time, and they have the potential to flourish. So our idea was to establish this third space, this brave space, where people can come for free, no matter their membership status. They can do whatever they want with these hobbies. They can try miniature painting for free, and when they finish, they can take the miniatures home, it's theirs. And through that, we managed to just organically establish a ecosystem where everything just sort of works on its own, and people give what they can and take what they need. And through that, we got a lot of volunteers who wanted to help because they felt like they had access to everything they needed there, and they didn't feel like they had to pay and then work. And in the end, that's why we have a lot of people with competences like event management, event organization, community building, to digital like competences, which go through like montaging videos and photography, to communication skills, to project management, financing, like everything you would need to run a bigger organization. And as well, because they're volunteers, they can choose what they want to do, and they can stop doing it whenever they want. So it's like place with a lot of opportunities where we're okay if something, like we're okay with the fact that something's working and we start doing something else. We don't pressure too much that something needs to be the way it is or needs to be done. So it's a good opportunity for people to learn. Personally, I thought that the hardest part was going to be finding the motivation to start all of this. And it was a really hard part because it required meeting the main players of a non-connected community and then banding them together and establishing this. And it went great because it was fueled by like passion and fueled by interest and wish to have a community like this. But we are now 5 years in, and we are entering a phase which is very scary, and it's with problems, of course, but it's a scary phase because the excitement of the new is slowly fading away, and we are finding ourselves in established systems that grew through the years, and now it's time to maintain these systems, and it can be really hard to find motivation sometimes, even though we all love what we do and we love each other in the community, but it's a challenge that we're facing, and I wonder what it will make out of us, how much better people we will be, because it requires discipline, and now we're in a phase where like we as people have to grow and gain the competence of discipline, which is, I think, the most important competence of them all. So yeah, the lesson is that an organization that you're making, as it grows, the challenges change like in such different manners that I didn't even expect all of these challenges, of course, and it never gets old. Like it's always difficult. If you plan to make a successful organization, make sure you're doing something that is the most important thing to you that can be, like a passion of yours, something that's not driven by money, but by passion, because it's going to help you start a rocket. And then when it gets really hard, you won't quit because it will still be your passion. Of course, you have to be careful not to start hating it, but always be ready to change as a person, to adapt as a person, to listen to other people, because the more needs that you fulfill, the better your organization will be. So it's really important. I think I would say in one word, adaptability, to be able to grow and change with your organization. As a youth worker, I wouldn't suggest that youth workers are forced into environments where they cannot from the start like understand it, or if it's too difficult for them, because it will make them hate this environment. I think it's important that the organization adapts to the youth workers that it has a bit, so they can start small with simple systems, with simple apps and programs, and they build upon it. And I think it's very important that they know why it's useful. So you don't just give them, I don't know, logbook, for example. I'll use it as an example. I hope I don't insult people from logbook. But like, you give them this, and then they have to do something in this app every week, for example. and they won't see the benefits of it, then it's a problem because they will just hate the application, right? If you tell them, here's Google Drive, we can use it to save all our data in an organized way, and you can access it from anywhere, then they might understand, because they're going to take their laptop to an exchange into another country, and then they'll be able to access all the information and share it with limited people. So yeah, I think it's very important that youth workers start small with small tasks, and they expand on their knowledge, and then when they get better, they can even help the organization introduce new tools, right? So yeah, when you lose a youth worker that's very competent in the digital world, you might want to think about putting it back instead of forcing stuff.